Today we are doing our weekly spending plan for April. We've done our monthly budget for April already, got it down to zero based, and we've thought through all of the things we need to budget for the month of April. If you missed that budget with me video, you can go watch that.
Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets. I'm here because it's more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget. You've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, and thought it's simple math. I'll just stick to what's on the paper. But then life happened and your budget didn't work out. The reason? Because it's more than just math. That's where I come in. Let's figure this out together. Don't give up. You've got this.
But before we get started with our weekly spending plan, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe below and let me know that you have subscribed below in the comments so that I can personally welcome you to my channel. I really appreciate all of the support. And what we do here on my channel is we talk budgets and weekly spending, but we talk mostly about it's more than just math. Anybody can do the math that's required to do a budget, but I'm all about the more than just math moments where we're examining those things that mess up our budgets, and we're really digging in and we're figuring out about our habits and our behaviors, and we're looking at those and we're moving forward, and we're gonna do this together and not give up. So we're going to jump into our weekly spending plan. On the screen here, you can see my weekly spending plan. It's a spreadsheet. I do this in Google Sheets because there's a lot of math involved. Everything else is done on my Remarkable. I love my Remarkable. I do everything in pen and paper. This Remarkable has every single notebook and every single journal, my budget's on here, my calendar's on here. Everything that I do, everything that I use to cram in my backpack is right on this one little thin tablet. This is what I use for most of my budgeting. However, for this part, I use the Google Sheet because there's so much math involved, and I like that it's color-coded. Green means I have extra money, red means I'm over budget, and black means I'm right on budget. So what this spreadsheet is here is all of these categories and due dates are coming from our monthly budget. Once you set these up, copying this tab every single month, all I did was went over to my master copy and made a copy for April. I have to change the due dates if they change monthly. So my children's income, we do on the second Saturday of every month, which is the 14th this month. So I need to change that here, but that's the only due date that I need to change. Whoops, that looks funny. Okay, and these planned expenses here, this column, these are coming from our monthly budget. So I just did my monthly budget with me video, and I'm going to take those numbers out of my Remarkable monthly budget, and I'm going to put those in here. And then we're going to break this down by paycheck over the weeks coming up. So I'm going to enter in these planned amounts, and I will be right back with you. Okay, as you can see across the top, I put in our planned income by paycheck. So I entered all of our income across the top, and this is the number I planned in my monthly budget. And you can see as I moved across that it is these numbers that I entered matched up. So those are allocated across the weeks. Then I entered all the due dates, which were the same from my monthly budget master, except for a few. And then I entered in all of the planned spending amounts from my monthly budget. So my planned income for my monthly budget is $6,900. And if I go down to the bottom, you can see that my planned expenses are $6,900. Very important. Now what we're going to try to do is get each of these weeks to go down to zero. So for this first week, I have $2,100. First, we tackle our tithe because we give 10% of whatever we make right off the top. So when I did that, I'm entering what I plan to spend for this paycheck. So I have $2,100 from this paycheck, I think. This is a new number for me. I'm not exactly sure what this paycheck will be. But when I put that in here, this remaining total is going to start calculating as we go. I'm going to enter my tithe for each week across so we can cue that remaining total to go ahead. I get 3 paychecks a month. one for me and two for my husband. You may get 4, so you may do this 4 times. If you get 5 or 6, squish some of those together so that you can just add 2 paychecks. If you get paid on the 1st and the 2nd, put those in the same week. You're not going to want to close this out more than 1 time a week, I promise. Okay, we've entered our income, we've entered our planned expenses, we've entered our tithes. So now we're going to go over here and we're going to look for things that have due dates, and we're going to take care of those first and putting them in the correct categories. First, I have my water, sewer, trash, which is due on the 7th. So this paycheck week this is the first paycheck. We get paid on the 4th, and this is the 15th. So I'm going to put that here. So I'm going to budget $150 to come out on the 4th. Natural gas, that comes out on the 2nd. So does electricity. So I'm going to put those both to come out of the first of the month paycheck. So that's $65 there and $149 there. Cable internet comes out on the 10th. So if I put it in the 15th, that'll be too late. It needs to come out of the 4th paycheck. So I'm going to put $50 there. So now you can see as we go across, all of those numbers line up, and this category is fully allocated. I don't have to mess with this category anymore at all. Let's look for other things with due dates. The 11th is when we pay our phone bill. So this is the 1st of the month, this is the 4th, this is the 15th. We'll put that on the 4th of the month paycheck. Coming down here to the 23rd, I could pay that on the 15th paycheck. This one is multiple due dates. So our entertainment, that's all of our subscriptions. I don't want to add 4 line items to this already large Google sheet. So what I did was I put entertainment on one line, and I have, it's 5 line items in that one line. So I just listed all of their due dates. And what I'll do is I put this on the 1st of the month, because the first time one of those bills is going to get paid is on the 2nd. So I'm putting that on the 1st of the month paycheck. And this will just act like an envelope that carries through as each of those come out. That money's just going to roll over from one week to another. Education comes out on the 17th, so I can put that on the 15th of the month paycheck. Gym comes out on the 17th, so I can also put that on the 15th of the month paycheck. And the mortgage comes out on the 1st, so that's going on the 1st of the month paycheck. Anything else with due dates? Okay, 14th of the month. Okay, that'll still come out here on the 10th of the month paycheck. So that's my kids. They get an income. When they turn 10, they get $10 a month and a Chromebook with a spreadsheet on it that they learn to budget. So they sit down with mom once a month. They get their $10 and they give, save, and spend, and they have sinking funds. The first sinking fund they have to do is an emergency fund that covers enough to cover the cost of their Chromebook if they break it. So, and then they're also saving up for cars and phones and other little things. Like my 10-year-old just bought a big bunch of Pokemon cards. So they can save up for whatever they want to. And they have other pay chores and things that they do too. But that's what that child income is. We don't do chore charts and things like that. You work around the house because you live here and it's your job. It's part of living somewhere. You keep it clean, you do the work. But when you turn 10, you do get an income and you get a couple of extra chores. So that's what that is. Now we're going to look at this first week. We need to put in $108 more into our spending plan for week 1. That's how much is remaining out of the $2,100 we plan to spend out of this paycheck. We have $108 left to spend, but I didn't give us anything for groceries or gas, which are 2 pretty important items. So we're going to do gas. I know $50 would be the minimum to fill up a tank, so that gives us $58 more. I would just throw it in groceries, but last time dining out got me. So what's 58 divided by 2? 58 divided by 2, I should be able to do that in my head, but like I said, it's really intimidating to do all this math while on camera. So I'm going to do 29 in groceries, and I'll do 29 in family dining out. And that should, if we roll back down to the bottom, that should be 0. So this week is fully allocated. We have a zero-based paycheck. That's perfect. That's what we want. Now, there's one thing I forgot that I do is lump sum sinking funds that does not have a due date. My lump sum sinking funds are sinking funds that I contribute to that have a due date. So these are things that I'll be paying for within a year. So it's important that I fund that. But I fund that out of my last paycheck of the month. There are different methods of budgeting out there. A lot of people will do pay yourself first, and I totally agree with that, and I used to do it, but I got tired of doing 2 transfers a month, so I would do my 516 on the first of the month. As soon as I got paid, I'd pay myself, and that's important, and that is so good of a habit to do. But then at the end of the month, when I close out my budget, any extra money I was also transferring over. And I was finding it difficult to do more than one sit down and transfer everything day. So I am disciplined enough to actually do my transfers at the end of the month, and I'm not going to spend that 516 just because it's hanging on to the end of the month. So that's why I do mine at the end of the month. If you have a discipline problem where you might spend that, pay yourself first. Put that first thing. So you do your tithe first, and then you're doing your paying yourself second. So that is the order you should do it in if you're going to be at risk of spending that money. For me, I am not at risk of that. So I put it in my last paycheck of the month. So I wanted to clarify that because I felt like there was some questions about why aren't you paying yourself first? Paying yourself first is super important. I've just been doing this a long time, and I'm not going to blow that money. I just want to do one transfer a month. So that's why I do it that way. Okay, so for the second paycheck of the month, I have $18.56 left to spend, and I have $7.55 left in that third paycheck. Now what I do is I go and I try to divide my categories that are left in half as much as possible, like groceries and dining out. As much as possible, I like to have that at beginning of the month and end of the month so that I'm covered whenever I want to go out to eat or go grocery shopping. Let's review what we have. We have our giving is fully allocated. Our savings is now fully allocated. Our housing bills are fully allocated. Our dining out, our food is where we are. So we have $1,200 assigned for groceries. We have allocated 29 of it. So we have $1,171 left to allocate. If I divide that by 2, it's $585.50. How much did I have? Okay, $585.50. Where'd it go? Okay, 585.5 there, and 585.5 there. Now you can see this is a little bit weird how we have it across 3 weeks. We got 29 there, 585 there, 585 there. So you can see my planned amount over here was $1,200. If you go across, it tells you your allocated amount is $1,200. So you did it right. Your math is good. Family dining out is $200. So I like to do half and half. Oh, but I already did 29 of that. So 200 minus 29 equals 171 divided by 2. That's 85.50. Okay, and I know in that third week I was getting down close. We have $84 left, so we need to keep an eye on that. Whoa, scrolled up too far. Let's go ahead and put that 84 in gas right now because I want to make sure I have gas money for that second half of the month. So that should, that should zero out that third paycheck of the month, which means everything else can go in the second paycheck of the month. Now, what that does mean is that if you look at like our date night category, we don't have anything for the second half of the month, but I can treat this like an envelope. If I plan it all out for the second paycheck, so that's getting paid on the 4th, and I only spend $50, I can carry that over and treat that like an envelope. And then fellowship is $100 on that second paycheck of the month. So food, my goodness, this is jumpy today. Food is now fully allocated. Gas, we still need to do gas. So we have 300. Out of that 300, we've allocated 134. So we have 166 left to put in this second week paycheck of the month. Our car wash we'll put on the second paycheck of the month. Transportation is fully allocated. Personal, okay, we're going to put all the shopping in the middle and hair in the middle. House clean, I did that in the wrong place. House clean is 0. Birthdays, it should be birthdays and kids funds. I changed that for this month. What that is that's my birthday gift fund for kids that are invited to birthday parties. My kids' actual birthdays are sinking funds. So this is whenever my kids get invited to a birthday party. And then what was happening was youth events, youth group things, they would go on all these outings and I wasn't prepared for them. So what I've done is I have changed this to like a kids events or gifts or kids outings fund. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it yet, but anything youth group or birthdays will come out of this fund. So I upped it a little bit and added a portion onto that. That was my husband's idea. I would have added another category for youth group and put $100 into it, but he made the point of these youth events don't happen every month and birthdays we're not fully using every month. So if we just add 50% to that category, then it should level out. So we'll try it this way for a couple months and see how it goes. We need to put that in the second paycheck of the month. So then personal is fully allocated. Scrolling down, lifestyle is fully allocated. Health is fully allocated. Debt is not. We need to put our $63. That's for my phone. If you watch my emergency fund update video, I explained how I got that number and why I'm choosing to put that into debt digging. I don't believe in carrying debt, but it's a 0%. So for now, while we have the phone, the bathroom, the basement, the microwave, all of those things, go watch that video. I'll explain it all. But that's how we're choosing to carry that for now. Insurance is all in sinking funds. Spouse spending, I need to allocate that. And my spending is neither one of us have, I think my husband spent like $11. I haven't spent any money for my spending for March yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that's going. But so far, so good for my new spending category. That's a new one. If you watch my March budgeting videos, that's a new category for me. I've never had a spending category before. I'm such a saver that I've never had a spending category. And then when I wanted to buy something fun, I messed up our budget and felt really bad about it. And my family, who bless their hearts are a bunch of spenders, were like, Mom, why don't you have a spending category? So we fixed it and I haven't used it. I don't know. Well, you know, it's more than just math. I say it all the time. It's about our behaviors and our attitudes towards money and budgeting and spending and planning that create the health or problems around our budget. So, and your health can go either way. You can be too much of a saver or too much of a spender, and it causes problems either way. So we have zero-based spending for each week, each paycheck that we have for the month of April. So we're doing really good. That is our weekly spending plan. If you need to get started with your budgeting journey, just start with the monthly budget. This would be the second step in your plan. Once you get your monthly budget down to a zero-based budget, I would like you to do a weekly spending plan to make sure that your weeks line up with your bills, your paychecks line up with your bills, because for us, everything was super heavy on the first of the month, and then our budget would get messed up and we couldn't figure out why. Well, we had more bills coming out of the first of the month than we had money coming in. So then we had to call and move due dates and do all of those things. And there's ways around it. There's ways of fixing it. You can get a month ahead and save up and get yourself a buffer. But you have to know what's happening in order to make those kinds of plans. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you subscribe, let me know in the comments that you're a new subscriber so that I can say hi and welcome you to our channel. Keep going. You've got this.